I am the CEO here at Resin Rockers, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about who I am, what we do, and then we're going to go over some housekeeping things before the class starts, and then we're going to dive right into our crafting. I know we have so many people that bought this kit that want to make these pens, and I'm so excited because this is going to be such a fun class. So let me tell you a little bit about who I am. I started this company a little under 5 years ago, and the reason I started the company was because I was not happy with the quality of resin out there as a resin artist. So I went on a mission to develop several formulas of resin, including epoxy resin, UV resin, anything that I could that would improve the quality. And my goal was to take the quality products and to teach classes so that you guys can enjoy resin art. I can't tell you how many times people have come to me and say, once I found you, once I found your products, it was so much better for me. I decided to dive right back into resin art, and so here we are. So I am here to educate you and answer questions and help you be successful with these crafts. And tonight we are doing pens. We're going to do snow globe pens. We're going to do wraps. We're going to do templates. And the special thing we're adding on this time is a drip. And I know we have so many questions about the quick drip and how it works. You're going to learn firsthand how to do it from start to finish. Safety is first. So if you prefer to wear a respirator or a mask, that would be fine. You want to protect your hands. I will be wearing nitrile gloves. If you have nitrile gloves, I recommend that you wear them. Proper clothing, I have an apron on. If you want to wear long sleeves, you're more than welcome to do that. And then also, last but not least, make sure that you are working in a well-ventilated space. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. So I think we're ready to make some pens. Are you guys ready to make some pens? I know I am. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox our kit. All right, so let's start with the different pens that you have in your kit. And first we have 2 snow globe pens. And then we have 2 regular pens. And I'm gonna teach you how to disassemble these. I'm gonna teach you how to customize them, and then I'm gonna teach you how to put them back together. Then we have a new release, which is our mechanical pencils. So I'm also going to show you how to do a really fun template wrap on these pencils. All right, let's talk about the resin that we have. So we have 3 formulas of resin that you guys are going to get to work with. The first one is going to be the skim coat UV resin. This is going to be your bread and butter here. This is the one that we'll be using to seal everything in, and it is most commonly used on pens. That is the reason that this was developed. So you'll be using that. You'll also get a chance to use the Glimmer Cure. Now, we may use this during the class, we may not. It's going to be up to you and how you want to use it. But I wanted everybody to get the chance to try it because it really is a great product. It already has the glitter in it, so it does add a little bit of sparkle to your pen without the mess of dusting and mixing and sanding. Last but not least, we have our quick drip UV resin. This is a more opaque resin. It's a lot thicker, and it allows us to control a drip whether it's on a tumbler or a pen, and tonight you're going to learn how to use it and cure it properly. So you will have either, I think, white or pink in your kit. This is going to be so much fun, you guys. Okay, we have some finger cots. These are nitrile finger cots. The reason that I like these is because it keeps my hands clean while I'm making my pens. I always use a gloved hand when I'm making my pens, but if you can imagine spreading the resin onto your pen with your glove, you're constantly going to be cleaning your gloves. This will keep your gloves clean and in turn keep your workspace clean as well. All right, we also have let me see here. We have our pen wrap roller. This is going to be for applying your templates. So it just kind of helps keep the pen barrel straight, keeps it from rolling away, and it helps us to line that template up so that you guys can get a nice tight seal all the way around from end to end. All right, we also have some adapters for your dowel rods. So if you want to go ahead and take your dowel rods, these are 1/4 inch dowel rods just in case you guys decide to get more in the future. But we're going to go ahead and assemble these. So go ahead and take these out of the bag. And you are going to take your dowel rod and you're just going to put it right inside this adapter where it's the wide end. So you're going to have this nice skinny part at the end. That's what's going to hold your pen. You're going to place it right inside there, and we're going to do that to both dowel rods. All right, so we're going to set those to the side. Next up, we have some clips. These are going to make a hands-free way of putting this into your lamp when you have to cure your pen. Now, you guys may have purchased the 5-holder, the 5-tray holder. If you're using this, there is no need for this, but we want to include this because not everyone has this tray. If you are using the tray, this is how it works. You're just going to take your dowel rod and you're going to put it right into that slot, and you'll be able to cure 5 pens at the same time. All right, next up we have our brushes. So if you took the first pen class, you will have received a larger pigment brush. This is going to be your larger dusting brush. Well, I wanted to one-up you guys and make sure that you were adding to your collection, so I gave you the medium and the small brush as well. So now you'll have all 3. If you didn't take the first class, no worries. Both of those will be sufficient for the duration of this class. All right, let's talk a little bit about our combo pack this time. So our combo pack this time has 4 different shades of Stardust. So we're going to have 2 different shades of gold. We're going to have a silver, and then we're also going to have a pink. We have some nonpareils. That is what we're going to use to decorate our drip. And then we also have some polymer clay pieces that we'll be using in our snow globe pen and around our snow globe pen if you wish. So we will be using all the things in this pretty little combo. So go ahead and set that to the side. All right, for the solution for your snow globe pens, we are using the Two Moms Craft Shack Magic Flow Original Snow Globe Solution. This is their quick flow solution so that you guys won't have to worry about waiting for your glitter to settle. This is going to make the flow nice and easy. I recommend this for all beginners. You also should have a pipette, which will make it easy to extract the solution from this jar and put it right into your snow globe pen. All right, if anybody is wondering what these are in your kit, these are sublimation sleeves. We are not going to use these during the class, but if you have extra pens, which you will, a couple extra pens at the end of this, you are more than welcome to use these to sublimate. You are also going to have a weeding tool. I know it looks like a pen, but it's actually not a pen. So this is what we will be using to weed our templates. And you can see it's really, really sharp, so just be very careful when you're using this because it is a needle point. But this is what we'll use instead of your angular weeding tool. We're going to use this. It's called a push pen. It's so much easier to use. You will also have a snow globe pen holder. This makes it super easy for you to fill your snow globe pen. So we'll be using this for our barrel. So hang tight on that. This glitter spoon makes it easy to put your clay into your snow globes and glitter if you choose to. And last but not least, we have our templates. So let's go ahead and take our wraps and templates out of our Ziploc bag. Now these were provided to us by Midnight Serenity. You can go to her site to see what else she has to offer, but she makes all of these pen wraps and templates custom fit for the Resin Rockers pens, which is really, really nice. Okay, so let me explain what is in this little Ziploc bag here. So we have a waffle cone wrap. We will be using this on our snow globe pen, and we're going to be making a sweet treat snow globe pen. So this is going to be really cute, and we're going to do a drip on this one. So this one, I'm really excited about this one. We also have a leopard print wrap. This is going to be our first project. We are going to learn how to wrap. This will help you get a little bit of practice with lining things up, and it will also get your feet wet so that when you get to that snow globe pen, it's going to be super easy for you. Next, you're going to have 2 different templates, and I know they're going to be a little bit hard to see in this light. One is going to have polka dots, and then the other one is going to be your pencil wrap. So the one with the line at the top, we're going to make sure that we put that with our pencil. So the pencil is the one that has the hole at the top, which is this one here. So go ahead and put that with your pencil so that you know that that goes on the pencil. Now, if you were to mix them up, no worries. The nice thing about these pens and pencils is the barrels are completely interchangeable. So let's say you do your pencil and you're like, oh, I really love this wrap. I wish I would have done this on my pen because I use it more. No worries, you can just take it apart. It's super easy. I'm going to show you how to do it. And you can put this right onto your pen barrel and you can use it as a pen. So you can interchange them. Okay. One other thing I want to show you guys that's super fun, and I know we've been waiting for a restock, but it's finally here. It happened today, but this will sell out super fast. But we do have a bundle for this fun little ghost pen. So you get the 3 glitters with it for the candy corn look, and then you also get the drip and you get 10 pens. So let's go ahead and we are going to start with our leopard wrap. This is going to be so pretty. I'm excited about this one too. Okay, so we're going to use our wrap roller here, and we're going to grab one of our pens. The pens are the ones with the little ball on top, so go ahead and grab one of those. We're going to take it out of the sleeve. And what I want you to do, I'm going to show you how to easily disassemble this. So we are going to actually use our thumb here, and we're going to push up while we pull this bottom out. So when you're pushing up, it pulls the bottom out, and this barrel comes right off of this clip right here. So go ahead and take that barrel off, and you're going to take your 2 other pieces and just kind of set them to the side. All right, so there is no prep needed with these wraps. It's one of my favorite things about them is you don't have to do a lot of work when it comes to wrapping and sealing. So go ahead and line your barrel up right onto your pen wrap roller. And then what I want you to do is you can see right here at the corner, it's almost like a sticker. What I want you to do is I want you to peel back where this sticker is, and we're just going to peel the top portion and we're going to give it a little bit of a crease right there. So go ahead and give it a crease all the way across. And this is going to help us line up on that barrel without having to reposition. So what I usually do is I make the pen barrel face me and then turn it a little bit to the left. It doesn't matter where you go on the barrel. You'll see this little divot right here. This is for where the clip goes, and we will trim that out once we seal it with resin, so don't even pay attention to that. Now, one thing I will tell you, if you're using a pen wrap that has a top and a bottom, for instance, something that has writing on it and the writing is going from top to bottom, you want to make sure that the top of your pen wrap matches where this little divot is. So just make sure you'll know this is always the top of your pen. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to take our wrap, and I usually go right below that divot because it kind of helps me line it up. And we're just going to go right straight across. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to gently pull back this sticker backing as I roll my pen and go from the middle to the edges. And once you get that sticker off, you're just going to keep going, middle to the edge. I usually just turn a little bit. And then once you get it mostly there, you're just going to smush and push all the way to the edge, just like that. And then once you get it to the seam, you're going to just take your thumb and kind of press hard all the way down to make sure we have a really nice tight seam. We want that to overlap just a little bit. So this is what it should look like. So you can see that there's maybe just a teeny tiny gap at the top here and a teeny tiny gap, not even a millimeter, and that's exactly what we want. So that is all for applying your wrap to this. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to seal this. So we're going to get our feet wet with this UV resin, you guys. All right, so I want you to take your skim coat out and I want you to grab a pair of gloves. And then we're gonna go ahead and open our skim coat. Now I know I told you guys to grab an X-Acto knife. If you have one handy, if you have a pair of scissors, that will work as well. If you don't have either one of those, you can also open your resin by simply taking off the top cap like this. And then you're gonna unscrew it and you'll see that it is sealed right here. All you have to do is take this pointed cap or the pointed tip and you're just gonna push it in and you're gonna move it around just like that. And that's gonna open that space up. If you have an X-Acto knife, go ahead and just trim that foil away. It just makes the resin come out a little bit easier. Now we're gonna go ahead and replace our cap. Just like that. And it's always a best practice to keep this top on when it's not in use. Remember, UV resin is sensitive to light, so we want to make sure that we are not exposing it to any light unnecessarily. All right, go ahead and grab one of those dowel rod holders with the adapter on it. We are going to go ahead and take our pen barrel and we're going to insert it right on top of this adapter, just like that. Now get your lamp handy because you are going to need it to cure. I am going to be using the Magic Cure. You guys can use whatever lamp or curing source that you have handy. And we're gonna go ahead and put our magnetic tray on. If you guys got the Magic Cure, make sure your magnetic tray is on. That is what's going to give you that 360 cure. So it's gonna reflect that light off the bottom and help you cure a little bit faster. So go ahead and make sure that's on there. All right, we are going to open up our skim coat and we are going to grab a finger cut. And I'm gonna put this right over my index finger. So we're just gonna roll that right on and that's gonna keep my glove clean. Then I want you to take your skim coat and I want you to just make one line of skim coat from top to bottom on this pen. And I want you to just start spreading it in one direction. So the idea behind skim coat is it's got to go on in a paper thin coat. So we're just going to go in one direction from top to bottom, all the way around. You'll know if you don't have resin on one area because it'll kind of catch. So we just want to make sure that you have it well coated all the way around. Then what I usually do is I will take my finger and I will just run it along the bottom of my pen just to make sure that I don't have a lot of resin on my little adapter there. All right, so this is what your pen is going to look like, nice and shiny. So if you are using your pen tray, you're going to go ahead and put that in, your dowel rod into that hole. If you are using your clips, I'm gonna show you what to do with those. So go ahead and get your clips out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your first clip and you're gonna put it right here, right by the adapter. Then you're gonna take your second clip and you're gonna place it about 6 inches below that. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give you a hands-free way to put it right into your lamp. So go ahead and put your pen into your lamp and turn it on. If you are using the Magic Cure, I want you to go all the way up to 48 watts. And then I want you to go for 120 seconds. Now, whatever curing source you're using, don't go past 48 watts because that's more than enough wattage for what you will need. But we're gonna run this for 120 seconds and then we're actually gonna spin it, just rotate it just a touch, and we're gonna do it for another 120 seconds. So while that is there, I want you to go ahead and grab a snow globe pen. because we're going to do our wraps first. Then we'll move into templates. And we're going to take this apart and we're going to go ahead and apply our waffle cone wrap to this. So same concept, this is actually split in half. So you're just going to gently push up on this and twist a little bit, and your pen's going to start to come apart. You'll see that this has a little metal ring on there. These guys like to travel, so just make sure you keep an eye on that. And it has a plug, so we're going to go ahead and take that plug out, and we're going to take our barrel and we're going to set those aside right here because we're going to be using those a little bit later. So now you're left with this. We're going to go ahead and take that apart. So you'll have two pieces here, and you can see there are no divots on the snow globe pen. It's just a plain barrel, but there is one thing to note. So when you take your pen apart, look in the bottom. You'll see that it's a little bit more shallow on this side than this side. This is really important. It's not going to matter for this particular project because a waffle cone isn't in one direction, but if you are doing a different pen, like let's say you're doing this one, you want that Coca-Cola to be in the right direction. You want it to be in the right orientation. So you want to make sure that you're not putting it on upside down. So we're going to grab our roller again, and we're going to lay our barrel right there. And we are going to rotate our other pen. So we're going to go ahead and take our little clips, and we're just going to give it a 180. And then we're going to put this right back into the curing lamp for another 120 seconds. All right, so we are going to go ahead and apply our waffle cone. So go ahead and get your waffle cone wrap. And we are going to do the same thing where we peel it like a sticker, and we're going to fold down this edge here, just like that. Give it a little bit of a crease. And then I'm going to turn my pen barrel just a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead with that waffle cone and we're going to line it up on that pen barrel. Now, if you happen to get it a little bit crooked, this is removable vinyl, so you can remove it. Let me show you how to do it because I know that's going to be a question. All you do is roll it back up and you can start all over again. So don't worry about messing it up. If it takes a couple tries, that's totally fine. One way that I like to know that I've put it down straight is I kind of look at this edge right here. And if you start to put it on and you notice that this space between the wrap and the pen barrel is not the same, you're going to want to take it off and start again. If you notice that it is the same, then you know that you've lined it up right. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm smushing and pushing from the middle to the edge all the way around until that seam meets. And then we're going to push our seam down all the way until we have our waffle cone. So now you've got your cute little waffle cone, and we're going to sit that to the side. So we have a question, why is the skim coat resin better than the original formula UV resin? And that is a very common question, so I'm going to go ahead and address that for you guys. So this is our main formula. This is our original formula. The uses for this formula are you can use it to dome coat, you can use it to cast in a mold, you can even use it as a deep pour, but this one is going to be the main formula when you want to do anything over a millimeter. So the difference between the two formulas, this one is formulated for skim coating, which means very, very thin coats. Anything that is going to be deeper than a millimeter is going to give you bubbles, because the thickness, meaning viscosity in this, is going to make it very hard for bubbles to get to the surface. And in order to pop those bubbles in the original formula, they have to get to the surface. Bubbles in this formula are just going to stay where they are. And that's kind of the purpose behind the thicker formula and the when you apply it thicker, it's going to draw that glitter in and it's going to hold it tight to that pen, and that's exactly what we want. All right, so I've got my pen done, my wrap done. Now go ahead and feel your wrap. It should feel nice and smooth. If it doesn't feel smooth to you, if you feel any imperfections, don't worry, you can sand this until it's smooth and you can coat it one more time with skim coat and it will be perfect. So just know that if it's not perfect to your liking, after the class, all you have to do is take a piece of 220, I usually use 180 to 220 sandpaper, and I will sand this down until it is not shiny anymore. And then I will go ahead and give it one more coat of skim coat, and I will cure it the exact same way, and it'll be perfect for you. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna wiggle this pen barrel off of our little adapter here. And we're gonna set this to the side. We're gonna reassemble this while our waffle cone is curing. So let's go ahead and get our waffle cone in. So go ahead and add your waffle cone to your pen adapter here. I'm going to take my clip off because it makes it a little bit easier for me when I'm applying my resin. We're going to take our skim coat and we are going to go from top to bottom, same amount, one line of UV resin all the way down, just like that. And you can grab your finger cots, put that on, and then we're just going to start going from top to bottom in one direction all the way around. Nice and smooth. If you notice that it's too much resin, if it's sliding way too easy and you feel like it's pooling up, go ahead and take your finger cot and wipe it on a paper towel and then start going again, because you don't want too much resin. Just like one of you had mentioned that you get micro bubbles in it, it will give you bubbles if you have too much on. So it's really important to make sure that your coats are very thin. So we have applied our skim coat. You can see how it gives it that really nice shiny look. Let's go ahead and put our little clips back on, and we're gonna put it right back into that Magicure, and we're gonna do 120 seconds at that 48 watts. All right, so let's go ahead and reassemble our leopard pen so that we can see our first finished project. So what I want you to do is I want you to look at the top of your barrel on both sides until you find that little divot that I talked about earlier. You'll see it right there. What I want you to do is I want you to grab your X-Acto knife and I want you to slit right down where that divot is on both sides. So you are essentially cutting that little vinyl piece and you're opening up that divot again so that when we reassemble it, the clip's just going to slide right in there. Great, so we've got our little divot cut. You guys can see it right there. So now what I want you to do is I want you to grab your pen right here and you're going to put your barrel in and you're going to make sure that this slit lines up with that clip. So go ahead and rotate it till it gets to the clip, give it a press, and now you've got your pen barrel back into your pen. So now I want you to take that bottom portion and you're just going to insert that here at the bottom and you're going to give it a nice push and you're going to make sure that your clip stays in place right there at the top. So push from the bottom and the top just to make sure everything's nice and tight. And now you have this amazing, beautiful pen. And to get it to work, all you do is twist it, open and close. These are really nice pens, guys, and they are refillable. We do have tons of refills for these as well. So one thing you can do to add a little bit of pizzazz to your pen is glitter skim. If you guys haven't heard of this, this is our glitter formula of skim coat. This is used to add just a little tiny bit of shimmer to your pens, and it does make a difference. Let me show you an example. So this is done with a wrap, same kind of wrap, and I'm going to try to get as close as I can, but you can see how the glitter skim, it acts as a top coat, but it just has a little bit of shimmer in it. So it's just going to give you a little bit of sparkle. If you are a glitter girl like I am, this is a great product to have as your top coat, because you don't have to add it to the resin and sand and then top coat again. You're just going to simply pour it out of the bottle, top coat it, and cure it. So we are going to rotate our waffle now. Go ahead and rotate that waffle cone, and we're going in for another 120 seconds. And while that is curing, we are going to go ahead and fill our first snow globe pen. So I want you to get your stand, and you are going to see this little divot at the top. That stays away from you toward the top. So you're going to go ahead and make sure that's facing the right direction. And then what I want you to do is I want you to grab your barrel, and you'll see the clip at the top here. I want you to put that clip right into that little indentation that I talked about a second ago, and make sure that it's nice and snug. So we are going to grab our Two Moms Craft Shack Magic Flow Solution. So go ahead and open that. Just like that. And then we are going to grab our pipette as well, because you're going to need that to get your solution. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to take a little bit of solution, and I want you to put it into the bottom of the pen. And we're only going to fill it up about that high, only about an inch. That's going to let us put our clay in there and get it all nice and coated with that solution. So go ahead and grab your clay pieces out of your little combo here. And go ahead and you can grab your glitter spoon if that helps. If you have tweezers, that works also. But we're just going to grab some of these, and then we're going to add a little bit to our pen. And then I want you to grab your solution again and add more solution. So you're going to alternate between solution, clay, solution, clay. And the reason I do that is because we want all of the pieces of clay to be encompassed in that solution so that they don't get stuck together. And you'll just keep alternating. Now, if you want to leave a little space at the top to add a little bit of sparkle, I like a little bit of sparkle in my pen, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to add to mine. And I'm going to show you how much I'm going to add. So one good thing to add is a nice, really fine white glitter. So this is called Pearl River. This is one of my favorites. This is usually in all of our starter kits for our snow globe pens. We're going to just do the tiniest amount. I'm going to show you with my glitter spoon how little you need. That's it. Hopefully you guys can see it. It's so small. It's a very, very small amount. You don't want too much because it will end up clouding your clay pieces, and all you're doing is just adding a teeny tiny bit of sparkle. So now I'm going to put my finger over this, and I'm just going to rock my solution back and forth over my clay pieces and kind of shake it up to get that glitter in there. You can see how cute that's looking. And then once you feel like everything is coated, we're going to go ahead and go back to our alternation. You guys can look and see if you like the amount of clay that you have. If you want to keep that amount, that's perfectly fine. If you want to add more, that's perfectly fine. Just know that the more clay you add, the slower it's going to move, and you want to make sure there's at least, I would say, about a third of the pen that's open so that you have some movement there. So I'm going to add just a little bit more. We also want to save a little bit of this because we're going to use this as embellishments for our drip. So go ahead and add that solution. And we're not going to go all the way to the top because we want a little bit of room for the plug. So we're going to go almost to the top. You can see it's right there. Go ahead and shake it up again. This is going to release any air in there to make sure that we have filled it to the max capacity when it comes to the solution. If you notice that your clay pieces are kind of floating at the top, just go ahead and tap it down. You can add chunky glitter to this, you guys. If you wanted to do just a glitter pen, you absolutely can do chunky glitter. Here's an example of a chunky glitter, super pretty. You can do bigger pieces with just a little bit of glitter. Here's an example of that. So there are so many possibilities, and we have over 400 different types of these polymer clay pieces, so you can customize anything the way that you want to. And Midnight Serenity also makes these wraps custom to you. So if you had, you know, a specific character that you wanted to use, or a something that a family member likes, she can customize that, and you can pick clay to coincide with it, and it's really, really fun. This is just an example of a medical one. This is for a nurse, and it has little stethoscopes and little pills, happy pills in there. So there's so many different things that you guys can do with this. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab our plug, and we're going to plug this up. So the easiest way to do this is from the side. I'm gonna actually put a little, just like one more little drop, maybe two of the solution on there. And then grab yourself a little paper towel and take your plug, and you're gonna go in from the side. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna give room for the air to escape. So you're just gonna go in from the side like this, and then press down. And then you're gonna finish pressing with the paper towel, because then you'll know if it's a tight seal. We want that paper towel to be completely dry when you're pressing down. That's how you know that it's not gonna leak on you.
Somebody asked, they don't want to miss the email about the Magic Cure lamp. How do they?
So put these to the side. We're going to use these as an embellishment. And now we have our barrel done. I'm going to grab a paper towel and just clean this off. Sometimes that solution gets a little bit slippery. So I've got a little bit of alcohol spray here. I'm just going to spray it just to clean it, make sure it's nice and clean before I reassemble it to my waffle cone.
Should there be any air bubbles? Say it loud. Should there be any air bubbles?
There can be air bubbles, yes. So you can see with mine, I have a tiny little air bubble. And that is totally fine to have, because what that does is it allows those pieces to move easier. So the more air that you have in your pen, the easier those pieces are going to move. If you have a pen that doesn't have any air, it's going to be very, very, very slow moving. I'm trying to see if I have one here that I don't have any air bubbles in. So it's going to be very, 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 very slow. So I always recommend to have at least a pea-sized air bubble in there. All right, so our waffle cone should be nice and cured by now. So let's go ahead and take our clips off, and then we're gonna wiggle that waffle cone back and forth.
One quick question. That plug that you put in, do you seal that with anything?
You can seal it if you want to. It doesn't have to be sealed because it is silicone, so it is going to give you a nice tight seal. However, a lot of people do like to seal it, and if you want to seal it, all you have to do is use your gloved finger, put a pea-sized amount of that skim coat on there, put it all around the plug, the top of the plug, and then cure it. The one thing that I will tell you that you want to be careful of is don't get resin on this perimeter right here, because if you do, your pen is not going to go back together very well. So I would put the resin all the way around here, but then right before you cure it, take your finger, put this on your finger and then rotate it so that all the resin that's on this pen right here is going to come off on your glove, and it'll make it easier for you to put your pen back together. So now we have the bottom of our pen right here. We've got our barrel right here, and then we've got our top right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look for the shallow end. You can see which way is very deep, which way is very shallow. We're going to take the short end that goes into the shallow side, just like that. And then we're going to take our other end of the pen, and with that silver ring down, we're going to just simply put those two pieces together and press. And now we have our cute, adorable little waffle pen, snow globe pen. Look how cute that is. Super cute, and this is the one that we're going to be doing a drip on. So we're going to do that last. So go ahead and set this aside. So that's pen number 2, guys. Good job. How are we doing so far? Doing good? All right. Perfect. So now we're going to be moving on to our templates. So we've done 2 pens. So let's go ahead and do our pencil first. So go ahead and grab the pencil template, which has the little line at the top. So it's going to have this line right here. So go ahead and grab this one. And then go ahead and grab a paper towel, because we're going to be getting that stardust everywhere. So we kind of want to keep our workstation as clean as we can. You're also going to need your weeding tool for this. So go ahead and grab your push pin. So now let's take a look at our wrap here. So we can see, based on this example, we have the eraser here at the top. We have the metal part of the pencil here. And then we have the main portion of the pencil here. Then we have this where the shavings are at the bottom. So that's the last portion here. So if we're looking at our combo here, let's go ahead and put them in order from first to last. So we're going to do the pink one first for the eraser. Then we're doing the silver for the metal. Then we're doing this, it's called pencils actually, this color is. We're going to do pencils for the main portion, and then we're going to do the sand castles, which is the gold color, at the bottom. I always try to lay it before I play it to make sure that I kind of know what I'm doing. Makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and dust our template, and then we'll disassemble our pencil so that we can get it ready for resin. So go ahead, you're going to take your pin pusher, and you're just going to gently poke the top of this wrap. But you're going to, and I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it closer, but you're not going to go all the way through it because there's layers here. So when you put this in and you start to peel it back, you'll see a blue layer underneath, just like that. We don't want to go through that blue layer. We want to leave that blue layer because that is the layer we're going to be dusting with this stardust. So go ahead and remove that top portion. You're going to grab your pigment brush. We're going to open up our eraser color, which is called Tiny Dancer. We're going to dip our pigment brush into the stardust, and we're going to just start tapping it on. And then you're going to start moving your brush. The reason I tap it first is because I don't want to rub the brush where there is no glitter, because it just gets stuck in that adhesive. So go ahead and then go in a circular motion once you get it coated with glitter, and this will just kind of work that stardust in. And then what I do is I grab my glitter dusting brush and I get rid of all of the excess glitter here. I just go in one direction to get rid of that glitter. And then you're left with this really, really pretty eraser color. Now, questions on how to clean your brush. A couple different ways. You can use your mouth to blow air onto it and kind of take your glove over your garbage can and try to get rid of it that way. You can go on a paper towel like this all the way down until it doesn't have glitter anymore. Or the easiest way that I have found, thank you Heather, is canned air. So canned air will actually blow the glitter right out of your brush, and that way you can quickly move on to your next color. We don't want to wash our brushes because obviously the glitter is going to stick to the brush, and that's going to make it very, very difficult to use the next color. All right, so we're going to set this one aside, and we're moving on to the silver tooth. It is the best hack, I agree. All right, so we've got our silver tooth, so let's go ahead and we're going to take our little pin pusher and we're gonna lift that strip. And you're gonna peel it right across. And you guessed it, we're gonna go ahead and pick up that silver tooth, start tapping that stardust in. And we have so many different colors of this stardust, you guys. So you can literally do just about anything. And then we're going to use our glitter dusting brush. And we're going to push, push, push. And you'll see it starting to come together. Look how pretty. It looks so good. How's it going, guys? You doing good? All right, so now we're going to do the biggest portion with pencils. So you guys can use the brushes that you have, or if you have your bigger brush, now would be a good time to pull it out because you'll be able to conquer a lot more territory with that brush. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to peel this huge portion off. And then just make sure that it doesn't peel the whole thing. We want to make sure that this bottom portion stays intact. Go ahead and dip and tap. And then we're going to go in that circular motion. And it's almost like I've heard a lot of people refer to it as adult coloring. It's almost like you're an adult coloring book.
Somebody asked if there's
All right, so we are down to the last color. And we're going to peel that off. And we're going to open up our sandcastle color here. And we're going to dip and tap. Circular motion. The one nice thing about Stardust is you don't really have to worry too much about contamination. So when you're using a thick glitter, like a microfine glitter, the bad thing about that is you have to seal it before you put resin on, because if you don't seal it, then the glitters are going to mix together and you don't want that. The nice thing with Stardust is it is so fine that you're not going to have to seal it. You're not going to have that problem. So let's go ahead and get the excess glitter off. And then you are left with this so adorable, look how cute this is, pencil wrap, you guys. Absolutely adorable. All right, so let's set that to the side. I'm gonna take my paper towel that has all the different stardust on them, and I am going to get rid of that. I'm also going to clean my gloves. You can either go wash your hands or you can use a wipey if you have wipies, but you want to get the excess stardust off because you don't want that in your resin if you happen to touch your pen as you're coating it. So I like to just clean everything off that I can so that it's keeps my workstation clean too. And then I always use a shop cloth after to kind of dry my gloves so that they're nice and clean for the next thing. Okay, so now we have this amazing pencil wrap, so cute. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna disassemble one of our pencils. So what I want you to do is you're going to do this similar to how you did the pen, but you're going to pull the bottom part out first because the top part is kind of tricky to get out. It's really hard, especially with gloves on. So I want you to pull this bottom portion out, okay? So you're gonna pull this out like that. And then you've got to get this part out because they are a little bit tricky. So you're going to grab a paper towel so that we don't scratch our pen, and you're going to grab a pair of pliers that have a grip on them, and you're just going to pull it apart like that. I just don't want you to scratch the top, but these are a little bit more snug because you don't have the clip to hold on to like you do for the pens. So let's set those aside, and we're going to get back out our little pen wrap roller. And what I want you to do now is we're going to turn our pencil wrap over. And we want to make sure we put this on the right way, the right direction. So in looking at this, remember what I said about this divot? The divot always goes to the top. So we're going to make sure that that divot is where that eraser is. That's where we want it to be, so that we put that on in the right direction. So you're going to grab your pin pusher, and the way these wraps work, they actually have 3 layers. So you've got your bottom layer, you've got the sticky adhesive in the center, and then you've got your top layer. So we've already removed that top layer. So now we have 2 layers left. We want to get that back layer off so that all you have left is that adhesive. So what we're going to do is we're going to take just the corner of this, ever so slightly, and we're going to peel it back from the wrap. And once we get that back, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did with the leopard wrap, where we peel it down, but you'll just have to be a little more careful because this is very thin. So you're going to pull it down and you're going to crease all the way across, just like that. So I've got my eraser here. I know that it goes with that divot at the top. So I'm going to make sure that I'm lining it up properly. So mica powders on the templates, I'm going to let Heather answer that one because I use premium pigment powders, but I don't use regular mica because I don't feel like it gives you that buttery finish. Okay, so we're going to line this up on our little barrel here. And again, once you start putting it on, you're going to look at the bottom. If you see the same amount of space between the pen, the edge of the pen, and the wrap, you know that it's straight. And you're just very gently going to start rolling it and pressing it all the way down, slowly unrolling it from that backing. Until we get all the way around. And the cool thing about these wraps is that they're seamless. So once you get those seams to meet, you're going to just press, press, press with your thumb all the way down. And then you guys, look, That's the seam. So you can't even see it once we get that resin on. It's gonna look completely seamless, which is awesome. So I love it when it matches, when it's even all the way around, it matches perfectly. No one would ever know that you have a wrap on these, which is so fun. We're going to go ahead and we're going to coat this with resin so that while this is curing, we can move on to our fourth and final project of the night. So let's go ahead and put our pen barrel onto our adapter, just like that. I'm going to grab a finger cot, just like that, and we are going in with our skim coat. We're going to do one line all the way down. So I'm just going from top to bottom, all the way down, making sure I have a thin coat. And you guys will know from the feel of your pens and pencils as we go through this, whether or not you want a second coat on it. If you want a second coat on it, you can just sand it down and then recoat it. It's super simple, but that is the best way. Sometimes, like, I'm very particular about the final coat on my pens also, and if I notice like one little bubble or like one little scratchy part, I will sand it and coat it again because it only takes like 5 minutes to do, and it's totally worth it. So this is what it looks like before I put it into the Magic Cure. I'm just going to let it level out here for a minute. Then we're going to add our clips, just like this. And actually, I'm going to let you guys do your clips, but I'm going to show those of you at home that have the 5 pen tray. We cannot keep this thing in stock. You just put the dowel rod in like this, and you can easily spin it in the lamp. So if you don't have a Magic Cure, you have a regular lamp, you can just spin it and rotate it as you're curing, and that sort of helps as well. So we're gonna let that cure, and we're gonna move on to our next template. Okay, so this is our polka dot template. You guys can see. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna grab paper towels. Now, you guys, if you have premium pigment powder, or I know a lot of you already have the Stardust. If you have other colors you want to use, more than welcome to do that. So you guys can use the colors that you have. If you don't have any other Stardust, you can do like a black or a silver background with pink polka dots, or you can, you know, kind of mix and match whatever colors you want. All right, so I have Purple Kisses, and I have Ocean Avenue, and I have Magenta Mountain. So we're gonna see what I decide to go with here. Okay, so we have different sizes of polka dots here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the smallest ones first, the smallest polka dots first. So my timer's already off. I'm gonna rotate this a touch, and I'm gonna keep on curing. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take your polka dots, and you can do, there's no rhyme or reason to this. You can do it however you want. Just kind of mix and match them. So I'm just gonna grab a bunch of these little dots and take them off. And we're just gonna do a bunch of different colors with them. And you're gonna kind of do it the same way that you did with the pencil wrap. So what I do is I take enough dots off so that I'm doing one color at a time. So let's say I take 10 off, I'm doing all purple. Then I go to the next color. That way I don't keep having to clean my brush and rotating back and forth. You're gonna do all the same color at once. Okay, So we're going to do Magenta Mountain first. And because these are small, I'm going to use my pink brush, which is the smallest. And we're going to do the same thing where we dip and dot. The little brush really helps with these teeny tiny areas. And then just make sure you're going in that circular motion. And then once you get to the end of that, you're going to go to your next color. We're going to use our dusting brush, push off that excess glitter. We're going to clean our brush with a little canned air. And then we're going to start pulling the next dots. You always want to do the background last. I see you guys helping each other in the chat. That is awesome.
Yes, one more question.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, are there specific types of glitter that work best with these or any resin rocker glitter?
So I recommend the Stardust. The Stardust is going to be your finest to where you don't have to seal it. You can use any of the microfine glitters as well, but you're going to have to seal it when you're done. So that's going to be the caveat behind that. But that's a great question. Now, one thing you can also use are the premium pigments. So we have a Little Mermaid collection of pigment powders. These are really pretty. These are awesome. A little tiny bit goes a long way with these, but these are similar consistency to the Stardust. They're just very, very, very shimmery. So this is an example of a pen that I did with those. Just very, very, very pearly, very, very shiny, completely different look. It's almost like a metallic look compared to just a shimmery look, which is what you're going to get with your Stardust. All right, so now we're going in with our Purple Kisses. And I'm going to move to the other brush here so it picks up a little bit more. You guys have so many good questions tonight. I love that. Okay. Got that purple in there. It's looking so pretty. How's everybody's turning out? This brush is one of my favorite tools for this part when you're trying to get the rest of that glitter off. It makes a huge difference. It saves a ton of time. All right, let's go ahead and pull these dots off.
A couple quick questions for you.
Sure.
What was the other glitter that looked metallic? Missed the name.
They are called premium pigment powders. And if you look up Little Mermaid collection in the shop, you'll see all the different colors that come with it. And there's actually a bundle too that you can get that has all of them, and there's a little discount with it too. So that's what I would look for. But we have other ones other than the Little Mermaid. Just look up premium pigment powders and you'll find them, because a lot of them are chameleon. We have a pretty wide variety.
One other question. If they order the kit for the next class, does it ship now or closer to the time of the class?
Great question. You guys are on it tonight.
Yes.
I am loving this. Funny that you ask, because I didn't even announce the next kit and you are already ahead of it. So you are a true rocker and I love that. So it actually will ship closer to the class, because our next class is September 18th, which is a little bit longer than typical times for us. We usually do one once a month, but we aren't doing another one until September 18th, and it will ship probably the beginning of September. But if you guys are wanting to know what it is, I'll give you a little sneak peek. About what we're going to be doing in this next class, and I think everybody's going to be super excited about it. This is one that's been highly requested from you guys, and you guys are going to love it. We're going to do all holiday shakers. So I'm going to teach you how to do holiday shakers, but I'm also going to teach you how to embellish them. So we're going to be embellishing them with little trinkets, like little embellishments here. And we're also going to learn how to take a dry shaker and transform it into a liquid shaker. You will need a drill with a 1/16 inch drill bit to do that. If you don't have a drill, that's fine. You can keep them as a dry shaker, but I want to give you the option because there are so many shaker molds out there that don't have channels, and I want to teach you guys how to make the best of those. So that's our sneak peek, and these kits will go fast. So I'm warning you now. I haven't released them yet, but they go out tomorrow in the email. So if you plan on attending that class, I highly suggest getting the kit quick.
We're just going to finish filling in these dots from top to bottom.
Can you show the tool to clean the resin off of pens?
Yes, I sure can. Hold on one second. You guys are on it. I love this.
And we're going to use this glitter dusting brush to get rid of this excess glitter. And then we're almost going to be done.
So look how cute this is coming along, you guys. This looks adorable. It looks so cute. I love it. All right, we're going to do one last color on this, but we did have one question about the tool to get the resin off the pen. This is our deburring tool. This comes with 10 blades, and it will literally last you a lifetime. You will never replace this tool. You're going to buy it one time because it has enough blades to last you probably 10, 20 years. So it has a swivel top, so it's real handy for other uses, like if you are making a piece of resin and you have a little bit of over pour, you can use it almost like a potato peeler, and you can actually clean up the edges of your piece, and you don't have to sand it. So that's beautiful on any pieces you're trying to clean up without sanding. On a pen, you're just going to take this deburring tool, you're going to put it right inside your pen barrel, and you're going to rotate it. You're just going to rotate it like this, and it's going to shave out any excess resin. All right, so I'm going to pull this layer up. This is the background of all my polka dots. So you want to do that last. I'm going to go with pink roses. So we're just going to do that background. Don't worry too much about it touching the other colors, because we're just going to dust the excess glitter off. But this is going to give it a really, really nice shimmer. Very subtle. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to use our glitter dusting brush. We're going to push that excess glitter up off of that template. This is beautiful, guys. Gorgeous. All right, here is my wrap. Look at that, how cute that is. So let's go ahead and put that on our pen. Let's go ahead and take out our pencil and see how she did. Looks pretty good to me, guys. How's your pencil looking? Is it looking good? So let's go ahead and wiggle that off of our little adapter there. We're gonna follow the same process with our X-Acto knife. We're gonna find that divot at the top, right there. We're gonna trim that divot down. And then we're going to put this back together. So we're gonna take this now with the eraser here inside. So you're gonna look for that little line right there at the top, and you're gonna take your pen barrel and you're gonna line that divot up with that line right there. And you're gonna push this bottom part in, and you have this adorable pen pencil. And these are refillable too. They use standard lead, guys. You can use any kind of lead that you would for like your typical school supply lead. So you can refill those, and we do sell erasers too that you can buy so that you can refill that way as well. Cute, super cute. All right, so we've got 3 of the 4 projects done. We're gonna put our wrap on this, and then I'm gonna show you how to finish off your waffle cone pen with a fun little drip. So let's go ahead and remove the backing from our polka dot wrap. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just gonna peel back that blue liner very gently. And once you get it peeled back, you're going to peel it back all the way across. And you're gonna crease. Just like that. Go ahead and you're going to line up your barrel on your pen wrap roller. So if you haven't taken your pen apart, go ahead and do that. And remember, you're just pulling out this clip, and the bottom part will just fall out. So you've got your 2 little pieces here. So just set them to the side. And then you're gonna take your little wrap and you're gonna line it up right onto that roller. And I'm just gonna tap it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this one. This could be one of my new favorites. I love it. Which is just amazing. This is so freaking cute. Look at that. Even the seams match the little dots here. So we're gonna push that down. And then look how cute this is, you guys. Isn't it cute? All right, it's ready for resin. So let's go ahead and get that moving. We're going to add that to our little adapter here. And we're gonna grab that finger cot. And we're gonna take our skim coat and we're gonna go from top to bottom. All the way around. I would say this color combo turned out quite nice. Once you have it all the way coated, go from top to bottom and go all the way around. Like I said, doing this step will make sure that you don't have any contamination, whether it's dust, lint. And then we're gonna take a look at her. So pretty. Let's put our clips on. And into the Magic Cure she goes. for 48 watts for 120 seconds. All right, so while this is curing, we're going to add the drip to our pen. So what I want you to do is I want you to grab your quick drip and I want you to put it upside down. You can lean it up against something or kind of tap it down on your workstation. But because the quick drip is very thick, you have to kind of work it down toward the tip. So go ahead and try to tap, tap, tap that down. And then we're going to get our little nonpareils. We're going to open those up so they're accessible. And our little clay pieces. So let's take a peek at our pen. It's already so cute, but we're going to make it cuter. All right, so what we're going to do is, because that flow, that magic flow that I was telling you guys about is glycerin based, it's almost like an oil. So go ahead and grab some alcohol and I want you to wet down a paper towel, and I just want you to kind of roll your pen in that alcohol to clean it up and make sure that it's nice and clean. We want that to be clean and dry. All right, we're going to take our pen and we're going to put it into our pen stand right side up. And we're going to grab our quick drip. Now, with your lamp situation, if you have a smaller UV resin lamp, this would be a time to pull that out. I am going to be using our pocket lamp. I use this to seal all of my shakers. I use it to set the drips. I cure it in the Magic Cure when I'm done, but this controls the drip and helps me to set it so that it doesn't keep moving. All right, we're gonna rotate this bad boy. Okay, so if you want to add clay to your drip, grab a pair of tweezers. It'll make it a little bit easier for you just to kind of place things. So we're going to do this a little bit at a time. When I'm doing a drip all the way around and I'm only adding something like a charm to it, I will just go ahead and do it all at once and then set it and then cure it, and then I add my charm with original formula. We're going to be adding things to the outside of this drip, so we're going to move a little bit slower when we're doing it. So put your pen right side up. I'm going to open up my quick drip here. I'm going to have my pocket lamp ready. If you are using your Magic Cure, just make sure that your other pen is done before you take it. I'm going to give you guys an example of what you can do with your Magic Cure if you are trying to cure it with the Magic Cure and you don't have the pocket lamp. So you're going to hold your Magic Cure up toward your pen like this, and you're going to have it on and ready to press, so that when you've got your drip where you want it, you're going to turn that lamp on and it's going to set it. So that is how you will do it with your Magic Cure. All right, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to start applying our drip. So I'm going to go from one side where the clip is, we're going to go all the way around like this, and I'm going to apply it nice and thick in one line all the way around, and then I'm going to double back. And then you're going to tap it. So start tapping it. And it's going to start running. Just like that. Once it starts running, like I want to show you guys this little air bubble. See that little air bubble? If you see an air bubble, grab a lighter and it'll pop. You want to pop those air bubbles so you can't not see them. So I'm just going to grab a couple pieces of clay. And I'm going to grab like a little popsicle, and I'm going to put that on there. So cute. And then I'm just going to grab a couple of these balls, and I'm just going to kind of drizzle them on there. Keep tap, tap, tapping. If you want your drip to be a little bit longer, you're just going to add a little more resin. And then tap, tap, tap. And then what I do is I take a silicone brush And if you happen to get any resin anywhere you don't want it, just kind of clean it up with that. Like up here at the top, I usually will just kind of squeegee right across that top portion. Make sure it's nice and clean. So you can see that it is very controlled, very, very thick. So it makes it very easy to work with. So I am almost happy with this drip, the way it's going here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cure it with my pocket lamp. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set it. And what this is gonna do is this cures super fast. So the second that you start hitting this with the pocket lamp, it's gonna set. So now it's already set in place. So I can actually go in to the magic here and finish out my drip, finish curing it. So I got my one little popsicle on there, and then I've got all my little nonpareils on there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put that into my magic cure. And I'm just gonna cure it for 120 seconds. And then I'm gonna turn it and do another 120 seconds. So I've got my pretty little polka dot. We're gonna go ahead and wiggle that off of the adapter. We're gonna take our X-Acto knife and we're gonna go ahead and trim down that little divot that we love so much. And then we're going to put this right into the clip, right here, just like that, and give it a little press. And the bottom portion, give that a little press. And now we have our pen. Look how cute that is, you guys. Adorable. All right, so my drip is almost finished. So let's review what all we completed during this class, you guys. And remember, the kits are still available. So if you want to buy a kit and do this class, it'll be available on YouTube. All right, so we started off with our leopard wrap. Looks great. We did our polka dots. Did our polka dot wrap. You love the glitter. Sarah, that's awesome. I love the glitter skim too. It's just enough sparkle, just enough to where I don't have to do a final coat, and I love that. Here is the pencil. And to finish it off, you guys, our little waffle cone sweet treat pen with the drip. So cute, and just having that little bit of glitter in there makes all the difference. It's very, very cute. You guys can probably see it. Look how cute that is. Adorable. So I gave you guys 4 pens and 2 pencils in this kit so that you can continue crafting at home. One thing that I will tell you guys as well, because I know we had some late joiners, is that the ghost pen kit is back in stock. It just restocked today. So you guys can get this bundle and create these little cute ghost pens with the drip on it, and it comes with the quick drip UV resin. And I have a full tutorial on how to do it. So if you guys want to, you can go to YouTube, search ghost pen, and you'll be able to see how I made these. These are a lot of fun to make. All right, guys. Well, it has been super fun. Thanks again for joining, and we will see you back next week on Tuesday with another fun resin art tutorial. Good night.